the AUDUSD as introduced to us by Steamroller. Since let's run through the daily time frame. Let's see what is going on in this market from an holistic standpoint. And of course, you will see that let's look at this from in the last 4 to 5 weeks. And if we do that correctly, bringing out our line chart, the first thing we will observe here is the fact that price appears to be bullish. Let's see. Okay, so we have an ascending trend line in place. And let's bring back our candle chart to do some little readjustment here so that we can capture most of this pivot low. So we have a major one, which I would like to thicken a little bit, and then we have the temporary one right here. But in short, it's more like price action has been on a strong bullish momentum since October of last year. And when price tested this ascending trend line during the second half of last week, we saw some sign of recovery around that area, giving us signs that price may likely be respecting that ascending trend line. However, we cannot ignore the possibilities that the trend line could be broken to the downside to incite a sell-off. Now, to guide our trading decisions for this week, we are going to be marking out our key level, which will be situated at the 0.65300 area, its psychological level. So we want to be marking that area. So I think I will be using the 0.65300 makes quite a lot of sense. So we have the 0.65300 level duly marked out, and I usually like to have my key level highlighted in pink color. So we have this one too as well in pink, and then we have this like this. So we have a key level to guide our trading decisions. And in fact, if you go to as far back as the month of May of last year, you will see how the 0.65300 had played a major role in determining direction of price action. Look at what happened here in the month of May. It was more of a buying niche at some point before price broke down the structure in the month of August, and throughout the month of August to the month of November, price action has been trading below that area before we finally saw price broke out of the structure in the month of November. And since the breakout of the structure happened, price appeared to come back to retest the structure, and as soon as price got into the level, we begin to notice the emergence of buy pressure here. Now, the question going into the new week is, will this level serve as a buying niche to incite the second leg of the bullish momentum that started on the month of October, or are we going to be seeing price breaking down both the key level and the ascending trend line to incite a sell-off in this particular market? So with the information we have gathered here, you would agree with me that we are at a crucial juncture where we need to understand how market participants will be reacting to the structure during the early hours of this week to decide what our next line of action will be. But before we scale down into the 1 hour time frame, I want to acknowledge the 0.66200 area, which is a beautiful resistant line which could be used to guide our bullish expectations in this market. So I would like to label it. Let me give it 0.66200. It's a psychological level. 0.66200 level duly marked out, and then we give this a blue color. Good. So if price can break out of the structure, look at this area. You see in the past, that was at the beginning of the month of December, this area was a selling niche, and in fact a breakout of the structure incited a massive move of about 250 pips move. And if the same thing could happen here because of the memory it has gathered here, we're likely going to be seeing another wave of bullish momentum, and considering the fact that price action is floating above both our key level at the 0.65300 area and of course the ascending trend line. Now, with this information we have gathered here, let's scale down into the 1 hour time frame. And now scaling down into the 1 hour time frame, hold on a second, I would like these levels to stay within the auspices of this range. Okay, so we have the 0.62, then we have our key level situated just right here. The first thing we will observe on the 1 hour time frame is that since the midweek of last week, it's more of price finding higher lows and higher highs in this market. And if we bring out our line chart and connect in the series of higher lows, we have an ascending trend line to work with. And this ascending trend line here is going to be playing a major role in guiding our trading decisions for this week. And of course, you know how we use our ascending trend lines in this community. As long as price remains above the ascending trend line, we look out for patterns and structures that support the idea of buying an asset. And we will only consider selling unless the ascending trend line is breached and broken to the downside. Now, looking at what has been happening since the new week has began, you will see that price action is between a range right now. In fact, the highest point price action has been for this week is at this 0.66135, as you will see right here. So I would like to label that area very, very important. Let's acknowledge it. 66135 level right there. And I like this one should be brown color. Let's give it a toffee brown. And then we have the support line, which happens to be the lowest point price action has been for this week at exactly this 0.65825. So we have 0.65825 level right at the bottom. And one interesting thing about this range we've just identified here is the fact that this support line here also shares a beautiful confluence with that ascending trend line. So what this simply means is that if price action breaks down the support line, it will also have broken down the ascending trend line, giving us an opportunity to sell maybe into the key level, and that will be dovetailing to a minimum of about 55 pips thereabout. And if price action drops further, then we want to be adding more sell positions at the breakdown retest of our key level. However, if the buy pressure persists, as you will see here in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, price action had continued to find buy pressure around the support line and the ascending trend line. If this momentum continues, this may lead to the breakout of that resistant line at the 0.66135 and the 0.66200 area to buy these assets. However, considering the fact that price is sitting above the ascending trend line, I'm of the opinion that we could probably capitalize on the buy opportunity even before the breakout of the resistant line for the week at the 0.66135 level is broken. And how do we capitalize on that? Well, if we zoom into this current structure, you will see that though the week started with a bit of a bearish momentum into the structure, and the inability of sellers to break through this area could resolve or evolve, let me choose that word, into a reversal pattern, where whenever we have a potential reversal pattern, the next thing we normally do is to mark out the neckline, which we will be using to validate the potency of that reversal pattern. So we have the neckline sitting around the 0.65950 level. So we do want to be marking that one, 0.65950 level. and this will be a different color entirely. So let's give it a wine color instead. So we have this right here. Now this will be serving as the neckline of this reversal pattern. So if price can break out, retest of the 0.65950, we have a reversal pattern validated, buying above that area, and then looking out to buy or add more positions to our existing trade at the breakout of the 0.66135 and the 0.66200 area. And we always remember, have your stop losses in place. Very, very important. Just right below the ascending trend line, and that support line at the 0.65825 makes quite a lot of sense. So we will be having between 15 to 20 pips stop loss depending on where your entry point is. So we still look forward to buying opportunities here since price still remains above that our ascending trend line. So we maintain a bullish bias on the AUDUSD for today. So let's mark out this level and position ourselves strategically for the buying opportunities. And remember what I said here, that we will not be selling unless the ascending trend line and the 0.65825 is broken to the downside. So let's mark out this level on our chart, and this is going to be where our center of focus will be for today. And depending on where the breakout or breakdown happens, will give us an idea of where price is likely going, at least for the first half of the new week. So I hope I made myself clear here. I didn't see your comments, Steamroller. I guess you're not around anymore. So that is that on the AUDUSD. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to let me know in the comment section.